All right, so the focus of my senior project, as the title implies, is making a greener home, and a lot of the ways that this has been as supposed to be tackled is through these large movements against eating meat or large movements into solar technology. And a lot of us acknowledge that those things need to happen, but how many of us actually work on making those things happen, you know? So one of my focuses was working on saving household energy consumption more in the micro sense. So some background knowledge on what kind of makes a green home is really interconnected with what a smart home is. So smart homes are usually interconnected through Wi-Fi connectivity into one central place, usually some type of smart device, which you can view all of your all the energy consumption in your household, your appliances, and the statistics on them, and also you have security, which is easily viewable, all from one place. So basically, a smart home is almost a green home if you imply the right kind of saving behaviors and the right kind of appliances, which are efficient, and green. So this goes back to me saying again, we have all this technology now, but are we using it correctly? So this is also some more statistic to show that smart homes are extremely prevalent today. As you can see, there's a whole bunch in America. There's also a lot in Asia. So they're really starting to grow, and they're projected to just go up through the roof as one of the top 20 biggest markets for the next 10 years or so. So smart homes are definitely one of the big upcomers in future technology. So this is some just more information on the scale of it. And one of the studies which first inspired me to look into smart homes, and specifically smart meters, which are meters in your house which measure the amount of electricity, water, and gas you're using. The smart meter sends this information directly to your smart device. And this study showed that people who had this active immediate feedback showed a 10 to 15% increase in their energy savings in the following months due to this feedback. So all this is great, but the gap which I found is that all this technology is pointed towards the adults of the household, and nothing's pointed towards children. One study that I read, which I will come to shortly, yes, this one, was looking at 30 Girl Scout troops in the USA, and they tried to see if teaching these children and getting them to make videos and practice these energy saving practices would influence their parents to save as well. And the study is still going on, since it's a long process. They need to check back in bi-monthly, I believe, to see if they're actually doing all of these things that they taught them about. And so far, the results have been positive, with about a 20% increase in energy savings, which shows a drastic increase in savings just from educating the children. This is a short video just about what they were doing with the kids. I won't show all of it because it's a bit long. I'll just fast forward. But they basically encouraged the kids to all make these kinds of videos, which were.
I play more board games and media instead of.
Yeah. So basically, these kids they went into these classrooms taught by environmentalists, and then they were kind of tested by making these videos. This one is not from the specific study that I looked at, but it was reconducted in Washington, I believe, with another troop of Girl Scout and Boy Scouts. So it has this kind of idea spread. This idea is kind of spreading that teaching the kids is extremely effective. So I wanted to incorporate smart technology into educating children, since both of them are very beneficial towards energy saving within the household. So my research question is, how might we reduce electricity consumption of children aged 6 to 10 by providing active, concise feedback? Now, before I go into the next part, I just want to say that the ages 6 to 10 are the best age for incorporating behavioral and habitual kind of learning into children, since that's when they're most adaptable and their brains are most moldable. into making new habits. So here is kind of the overview of my study. What I plan to do is, it's kind of in two phases. This is the first phase and this is the second phase. And I'll be trying to work with 3 classrooms from grades 3, 4, and 5, since that's kind of the age range that I was looking at. First, I want to assess their current energy habits through taking the class through 3 different levels without them knowing of energy consumption. So the first level will be kind of like the red level, so the aircon will be on really high, all those plugs will be left on, etc., followed by the yellow or orange, and then the green. And then at the end of each of the days, I want to ask the children what they would rate their room, depending on if it was a red being the worst and green being the best. And then after that, after assessing their original energy saving knowledge, I want to then educate them through using the use of flashcards, so that they can try to pick out what are the bad energy consumption things and what are the good ones. And then I want to reassess them through bringing them to different classrooms and then having them judge whether it's a green, orange, or red room. That's my study because I want to see how effective the feedback of technology and color is to these children on their savings, because my implication of this kind of study would be working on this project, which Simon and I have been talking about a lot, which is a simple device, which is possibly like this egg-shaped thing you see here, which when in the room simply lights up green, orange, or red depending on the energy usage within the room. Now, of course, this is not going to just be limited to this. I was also thinking about lights or other fixtures in the room which could be used. Along with that, this is just kind of an overview of how we can make it, and this is what I would plan to use for my prototype. So with that said, I think there's also some implications that I have is obviously time, because as I said earlier, one of the struggles that the Girl Scout troop thing faced was the time period. That experiment started in 2014 and is still going because it takes about 3 years for them to get the full measure to see if they're still doing it. So obviously, time is a constraint for my test, as I won't have time after I graduate to continue working on this so much. So that's definitely one of the setbacks that I have in this study.